One and all, hope you're doing all right. We've got quite a bearish scenario going on with the S&P. You can see how long they've gone on the daily chart. Now, the thing of note is our level at 3912. You can see why. Support, support, support. Possibly going to be resistance. So we'll have to bring this line across. And, it's going to probably be tested. And it's going to be, might get a bit ugly. So we've got to be really careful. And it basically started from back here, so we've got to be careful. They're going long, which is a bit of an omen, and the European indices are green, but the US indices are red, so we've got to be really careful. And note that we're below the 21 moving average on the technical as well, so you can wait for a break of the 21 MA on the daily. And we're below that MA now, so you can see how it's descending. So I think we're probably going to get a break of this, and then it'll have to flush these guys out, I guess. Got to be careful because our trade of the day is fundamentally risk on signal, so we have to be careful. If we really go ugly and risk off, then our trade of the day is going to go poorly. Fundamentally speaking, sentimentally it should be fine, but obviously the fundamentals might kick in. So S&P, well, they went long, and they went long. Well, we actually went really sideways, to be honest with you, but they started to go long up here, and then again, and again. I think it's to 4,000. They probably thought we were going to go above 4,000, and that's probably what attracted them. But like moths to a flame in a way. So that's why they're thinking about perhaps going long, because they think we're going to get there, and then we're going to rally potentially. But I don't know what they're thinking. We might get a buy if they short it. So perhaps if we do continue to fall, it should help the sentiment there. Big question mark. And they might short it here on the US 30. But we don't know for sure if they will. We're quite close, 56.48%, 55.6. So you're waiting for those two numbers to interchange. So that number becomes smaller than that number. Then we know we've got a crossover. On a sort of a mathematical sense, that's how you can identify the crossover, is those numbers, and you want them to interchange. And if they do, then you want to see continuation, and you want to see them continue to sell it. Okay. DAX is just horrendous, isn't it? It's really choppy. We might get a buy. It depends what they're going to do. See how we just ticked up, so it tells us that they're buying. So they might short it against its moving average. It's hard to say. It's probably best just to not to comment on this because it's so erratic. So we might be making a buy, but it might need to fall first. Now gold is interesting because they've gone long up here, so we really are creating a resistance. Let's make sure we're tracking the right bit. Yeah, here, isn't it? So this should be a resistance thereabouts. It might be this one. It could be this one as well, but these two candles are going to be resistance for the fact that they've gone long. So 1838, 1835, and you see how we get a reaction there. So that's gold. So got support here, and you've got resistance here. The support is larger than the resistance. See, yeah. So be careful. It might be a good short with a stop there at 1838, $6 stop. We've made a sell. Yeah, could be a good one. I might just monitor it. I think I'm not sure if I'd want to trade there. I'm not sure. Euro USD. Well, they went long. All right, so we've got a box here. It's just so choppy. Let's have a look. Where are we? This is now resistance. So support, resistance, support. Two supports, now resistance. So 106.60, 106.46 resistance. The fact they've gone long, they might short it here. It's possible this is going to fall. It's going to break that low, and they were like, "All right, we're pretty bearish now. We're going to sell it." They're probably waiting for confirmation of that break, and then they're going to enter. That's probably what they're going to do, but they don't realise that's going to. Then it's going to. If they all do it, price will go higher. So that's what they might be doing. They're waiting for that break. And then we'll see a reaction on the sentiment, and it will be a buy. So you could wait for the break, not to sell, but to buy, because that's what the retail guys would be doing. They're looking to sell. there. Oh, we've got to remember that the Euro USD hit its weekly ATR, right? We have to remember, technically speaking, we hit its, the average true range on the weekly basis. So technically speaking, good resistance. It might be a good buy up, but then you're hitting resistance. So, you're looking about 40, 50 pips potential. Of course, we've got to be careful, and we've got to remember on the MATAF, the euro is coming down with the USD. So there's not a clear, this is going to be very hard to trade the euro USD when they're both moving down at the same time. If they're moving in opposite directions, that's fine. But if they're going in parallel, avoid it. So that's euro USD is going to be tricky today, and it might mean a bit tricky for the Dixie as well. So that's going to be that's difficult to trade. Maybe look for a long if that breaks, or you could look for a short if it breaks. It did make a sell here. It all depends what happens down there. I'd probably sit my hands for the euro USD and look for a better entry, I think. Dollar yen is sideways and choppy. They've gone long, so we had that reaction. But yeah, it's just not sure what to say really. Obviously, good resistance here with these wicks. They went long. They got punished, and then they shorted it right there, and of course, price come up. So what we want is to see a sustained move beyond its moving average, but you can see how it's hugging the moving average. We had a divergence there of the MA, and so we had that move, and now we're just hugging it again. So I think with the Euro USD, it's going to be very tricky. Technical resistance and the fact that the Euro and the USD are falling together, so that's going to be really tricky. And big question mark on the indices, especially the US ones. And we might need for them to fall in order to flush the sentiment out. And DAX is just very tricky and choppy. And that's that. So hopefully it helps. I'm not sure. I did take the trade of the day, but it is negative now. 7 pip loss. So I might exit it and then look for a better entry, or just sit in your hands, because I think there's a lot of question marks, especially with risk. And if this does puke, it's going to really impact everything, and the dollar will probably get very strong and get angry, and we don't really want to fight an angry USD. So that's the little summary there today. So just be very careful, and trade of the day might be good. Just be careful if we really fall. Think about exiting and use small sizes as well. Then therefore your losses won't be traumatic. It will just be like, oh well, it's a small loss. It doesn't really matter. So that's that. So have a great day. Patreon video now, and I'll speak to you guys soon.